Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Diablo 3. My name is Wilfred. So you may not have seen me feature this game for quite some time, mainly because towards the end of season I often just like chill a little bit, relax a little bit, play other games as well, feature other games that I discover or play during this kind of now period. So worry not, if you subscribe to my channel because of Diablo 3, I'm still playing this game, and very much so when the new season comes, my wife and I and my friends will dive back into this game and feature a lot more on our adventure in season 18. So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the new season 18, the season of Triune, and I'm very much would like to hear your thoughts as well in the comment box below on what this season on how this season is going to play out for you. And by the way, my wife and I will be traveling to another part of the world soon, so you may not see any video in this channel for 2 weeks or so, but worries not, we are just having fun in UK, and I have not been to United Kingdom since '95, so I look forward to seeing what sort of changes there is in that part of the world. Alright, now season 18 is the season of Triune, and Triune by definition is meaning that it's consisting of 3 in 1, the trinity kind of thing. So I think what the Blizzard is looking at is the 3 random buff that the player will have when you hit something. I guess it's very much like the Oculus Ring, but instead of one single buff, there are 3 of them, and 3 different colors as well, so you can distinguish, like, is it worth it to head to the circle and get the buff. So the first buff is a power buff, which is 100% damage buff to your damage output. Second one is a resource reduction, 50% decrease in resource reduction, and also the third one is cooldown reduction. And because it is color coded, so you can't know what is worth to go in and what is not. My initial thought is that it's very much like the Oculus Ring. Mechanic wise, I don't think it's that much more interesting, and also depending on whether your character require to move a lot. So like for example, if your character it can afford to move around and relocate yourself to where the circle spawns, so it's good news for you. So for example, like my Witch Doctor back in the previous season, very much I could head to a special location, just sit there and do my thing, and then go back in again and do my thing. But like for example, Necromancer, no way I can make use of this circle because it's so fragile. So if the circle spawns somewhere quite dangerous, I wouldn't be able to go in and do anything anyway. So it is very much build specific. I think whether you like this new mechanic or not, depending on what class you roll. I would presume that a melee class would benefit this quite a fair bit, because when you do melee, very often the circle would spawn somewhere near you, and you could relocate yourself a little bit towards that kind of location. So I think it's kind of nice. Witch Doctor, like I said, is probably another class that would benefit quite a fair bit from that end. Maybe Wizard as well, which sometimes is a little bit more stationary. You can afford to be a little bit stationary. That was always is a good thing. So I still need to think through what class I would like to roll, but do let me know in the comment box below what would you fancy. Now there is a new legendary gem that would come up. It's a Legacy of Dreams. So I kind of like the name because the Legacy of Dream is for you to continue the Legacy of Nightmare buff, if that makes sense to you. So in the Legacy of Nightmare buff, it says that so long as you do not have any set bonus in your whole kind of like setup, you will get a certain buff to your ancient. For each ancient you have, you get the buff on the damage output as well as damage reduction. So you can continue having that kind of buff by using one gem called the Legacy of Dreams. Now it doesn't stack with your LON kind of rings, because by having a ring you will have the set bonus, and then you wouldn't have the buff. So it doesn't overlap, but it's kind of nice that you could continue with your LON build. Like for example, my Necromancer LON Mage can continue into the normal using the Legacy of Dreams. The only thing I'll sacrifice is one legendary gem, so it could well be one of those enforcer. One of those that to do with the distance. The further you are, the more damage you dealt. Perhaps that one I will give it up because I can't give up the other two. So a little bit like a sacrifice there, but it's not as bad as like you have to equip 2 rings, so you lose 2 affixes. So it's kind of nice. I give the LN build a little bit more flavor to it. All right. Also new to the season, there's a whole bunch of buff towards the legendary items. Now I'm not going to name them all here, but it's I think it's evolved around mainly around the weapon as well as amulet. So amulet is the flavor of time, which a pylon can last twice longer. The skirt, necklace, which if you don't take damage, you up. For a period of time, you up your damage by 100%. Also, increase the damage taken by 50%. And other things like the weapon wise is kind of interesting. Like executioner, when you slay, you can slay an enemy less than 10% of the health. Though I thought that's pretty cool. It's like a frailty of a necromancer, but without having to cast a frailty. Echoing fury, which is also another weapon. Slay enemy will increase attack speed 75% with the movement speed 25%, which is 5 stack. Imagine you have that. So that is also a pretty big deal. And the last one is it's kind of hard to pronounce it, so just bear with me. It's this is a Mid River, which is a weapon whereby you slay enemy, you reduce the cooldown. So I think all in all, that could be interesting. My only thought is that rarely there are any build whereby you can sacrifice an jewelry slot for something else. So maybe just very niche build, like I'm just looking at perhaps the thorns build of the necromancer, perhaps that you could use one of those at flavor of time, or I think flavor of time is kind of nice to have. But weapon wise, again, it's not many build whereby you can sacrifice a cube in the weapon to do something like like one of those newer ones. So perhaps I think some of this may use a furnace, which is for the elite, kind of like a buff, at increased attack against the elite. So I mean, that could well be another option as well, but I can't really think of anything else that really can use some of these newer items. Perhaps just for leveling, just have some fun mixing things around here and there. And last but not the least is the crafted set. Some of the crafted set has new buff as well. I don't think any of those would be a end game kind of thing, because you do need a set item, or you need to LM build, no set. So even the crafted set, and the crafted set is always a pain. I tried it before, but it's always a pain, because just to get enough, kind of like get the ancient of it crafted is cost so much material. But anyway, those are my thoughts. And again, thank you so very much for watching. And yes, I'm still playing the Diablo 3, and I'm looking forward to the season 18, and looking forward to what you say about it as well. Your thought, please share with me, and I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.